So I start to chat to him. Where was he? What was he doing? He was in Montreal for a wedding. So I said, who got married? Jason. Okay. Then he said, but the trouble is, Grandma, I'm in a bit of trouble. I was driving a rental car on the highway and I got in an accident. The accident wasn't my fault. And I asked him, are you allowed to drive a rental car? He told me he could drive one, but he couldn't rent one. Well, stupid me. I accepted it. Anyway, he was breathalyzed by the police and found to be 0.1 over the limit. So he's now in a holding cell in Montreal. And he needed my help. So I asked him if he was injured. Just a cut on his lip, which had stitches, but he was all right. So he passed me over to a police officer who gave me his name and badge number and told me that if my grandson paid for the damage to the rental car, there would be no charges. So he needed $4,800 to pay for the damage to the rental car. And he proceeded to tell me how to send this money. He found the nearest Western Union office for me, told me I would need photo identification and cash. So I was very shaken, as you can imagine. But I gathered up my passport and my checkbook and I headed out, called a taxi. Fortunately, I met a friend who saw that I was in trouble and went with me. So we got to the Western Union office. I was told by the officer, do not tell anybody what the money is for because it will go on the record against your grandson. So, cut a long story short, we got the money sent off. I was told to get a reference number. The police would phone, I would give them the reference number, and my grandson would be released. So I went home, phone call duty came, I gave them the reference number, and the officer told me it would take perhaps an hour for my grandson to be released, so that he would call me. So I waited for a call, no call came. So eventually I phoned him on his cell phone. Hi, Grandma. I said, Thomas, are you out? No, I'm in. What do you mean you're still in jail? In jail? I'm at home. And my daughter-in-law realized what was happening, and she, very quick thinking, called Western Union. And my money had not been picked up. And I was given instructions on how to get my money back, which I did. Every last cent, even the transaction charges. I was lucky. I was very lucky. But I think a lot of grandparents have not been as lucky. And, you know, you feel very stupid when you get caught by something like this. But in the spur of the moment, those of you who have grandchildren you love, I'm sure you will know. I was warned by my friend that this could be something other than it seemed. But I said, if my grandson needs me, if I lose $4,800, so I lose $4,800. If he needs me, I have to do it. So I hope that you will all be aware and ask a question. Make sure. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to personally thank each and every one of you in the media for attending to help us launch this Fraud Awareness Month for the month of March. And I also want to thank the Betel Centre here, Bernad Betel Centre, for your gracious opening your doors for us today with our partners. I also want to personally take this time to thank Peg, who's here. She was a victim of a financial crime, a grandparent scam, and she stepped forward to speak to you guys and how she was a victim, and she's willing to answer any questions so other people will not become victimized as she went through. Financial crimes are increasingly significantly throughout the world. It has become evident to the Toronto Police Service and our partners that financial-related crimes have become more sophisticated with the advancement of technology. The dollar amounts have increased significantly. Victimizations and persons involved in committing financial-related crimes are no longer confined to small geographical areas, but have expanded worldwide. We also notice a significant increase in organized crime groups who are committing financial-related crimes to fund their criminal enterprises. Even though the Toronto Police Service is participating in the joint force operations, as all the partners that Gail had mentioned to you, we also realize that public awareness and crime prevention information is essential for stopping you and I from becoming potential victims of a financial crime. In December 2011, the Financial Crimes Unit launched a webpage identifying crime prevention tips to share with members of the community in regards to senior frauds, scams, identity theft, and ATM skimming. Shortly, we'll be adding an information session and tips on counterfeit products, which we have some of the products over there on the table. The webpage also has links to other reliable police agencies, both public and private sector investigation personnel, who have knowledgeable information to share with members of the community. To reach a more broader audience, the Financial Crimes Unit recently engaged in social media. We're utilizing YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook to share information and message crime prevention tips. In just the 2 short months we've been operating social media, we have over 800 followers. It is our belief that by arming the members of the community with a little bit of knowledge, it may assist them not becoming a potential victim of a financial-related crime. The Toronto Police Service is dedicated to investigate financial-related crimes and is committed to public awareness messaging on new scams as they become known to us. These public awareness messaging will be delivered through our webpage, our social media, and also through the media. Just remember that you may be a target, but you don't have to be a victim. Thank you.
Now, when you received the phone call, did it sound like your grandson?
Absolutely. I never questioned for a moment. Never crossed my mind.
So, did you provide his name?
I did. That's exactly how it works.
And did he sound, the person on the phone, did he sound distressed?
To begin with, no. And he said he was there for a wedding. And while normally I would say he does not drink, when he's there for a wedding it would have been possible that he would have had something to drink. But pretty soon he got around to, thing is, I'm in a bit of trouble. I'm going to need your help. Please don't tell my parents, I'll tell them when I get home. And he was quite calm when I asked him if he was injured, and he said he had a cut on his lip which needed stitches. And I said, was anybody else injured? Well, one of the passengers had scratches on his arm, and the story was all there. You could see it, you know.
Yeah.
And while the accident was not his fault, because he was 0.1 over the limit, he was in a holding cell in Montreal. And so the story goes.
And was it conceivable to you that your grandson could be in Montreal for a wedding?
Oh, absolutely. And you know, I asked him who got married. Well, he said Jason. Well, what teenager doesn't have a friend called Jason?
Very common name. And how old is your grandson here?
At that time he was, let me see, he'd be late teens, I guess, yeah.
So for him to have a car was almost a stretch for you.
Or yes. I'm sorry. Yes, we need to go, don't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Side up. So there's lots of neat little things that you can look at to tell. But again, if you book on the internet and you were looking at a Prada purse, type in Prada and counterfeit, and you'll find little guides on the internet of how to tell the difference between a real and a fake one. So if you're going to buy something that's expensive, just do a little bit of homework at home first.
I'm the detective in charge of the Toronto Police Financial Crimes Mass Marketing Unit, and our unit is one of the members of the Toronto Strategic Partnership. And the Toronto Strategic Partnership was formed in the response to telemarketing fraud scams, and it was formed over 10 years ago. And now it's developed into all mass marketing scams, obviously with the use of email and the internet. And there still are a significant amount of scams committed through the mail as well. The specific scams that relate to, that target seniors are generally going to be telemarketing scams, or letter scams, or scams over the internet. And there's many different scams out there. We've highlighted the Grandparent Scam tonight because that's been very prevalent in the last few years. And there's certain things you can do to prevent yourself from being victimized by these scams. And just quickly, a few of the scams you might get through a phone call would be an offer to lower your credit card fees, some type of request that you have to pay some car insurance or some type of insurance that has expired. That can be a red flag, but it's a false call as well.
Age of 65 by someone in a position of trust or authority. So it's very different from the stranger frauds. And I'm going to be talking about one of the types of crimes, or one of the types of abuse, and that is financial. There are others, but we can leave that discussion for another day. And financial abuse is quite significant, just as the frauds and scams by strangers. This particular generation of older adults is believed to be responsible for the single largest transfer of wealth in history. Now that's pretty remarkable, and you have worked long and hard for your money, and you certainly don't want a stranger to take it from you, and you certainly don't want a family member or a friend to take that from you. So what are some of the indicators of financial abuse? And there certainly are many, and I will just touch on a few in the few minutes that we have available. Now, as I go through this particular list, think of it as a bit of a checklist, but again, it's not everything. You may have some of these things. There are some questions that you may have. Just because one of these items fits perhaps with your particular situation, it doesn't mean automatically that it's financial abuse, but it's something for you to consider. It may be a red flag. Are your finances in someone else's control? Now, you may have someone helping you out with your finances, and that may be a very good thing. But are they completely under someone else's control? What access do you have to your money? Are you talking with that person on a regular basis about your money? How they're handling it? Are you being made aware of what the financial transactions are? Are you being kept current as to what's happening with your money, with your investments? Is there perhaps a sudden inability to pay for your bills? Or is there an unexplained inability to pay for your bills? What's going on? Where's your money? What about your standard of living? Is it in keeping with your current assets? If you've been living a particular lifestyle, is there a sudden change? Are things happening? There's no money. If you have always had money, if you've always had new clothes every season, what's happening? Where's your money going? What are the explanations for that? Despite adequate financial resources, are you receiving substandard care? Or are your care bills being left unpaid? Do you have all the required aids that you need? And as we age, and we're all aging, of course, I'm certainly aging, I'm older today than I was yesterday. Do you have what you need? Do you require certain aids? Dentures, hearing aids, glasses, walkers, wheelchairs. Are they in good repair? Do you need one? Are you getting it? Do you perhaps need care and assistance at home to remain independent, because we all want to remain independent. Is that being provided? Are there questions being asked? Are you being told, no, you don't need that, you're fine without it? These are all flags. Are you perhaps even getting services that aren't necessary? And if so, why is that? What possible reason would you need for that? Do you want to spend money, but you need to check with someone else first? Is someone controlling your finances against your will? Is someone opening your mail without your permission? Do you have people living in your home? Are they sharing the expenses fairly? Rent, board, food, utilities, vehicle. Is someone selling your property without your permission? I can't tell you the number of phone calls that I get. People are in hospital and they suddenly find out they have no home to go to because their care provider, the person handling their finances while they were in hospital, they've suddenly sold their home.